Hello everyone. We are gathered here today on the occasion of World NGO Day. My name is Deenu Raheja and I'm representing our NGO, the Global Education and Leadership Foundation. I am delighted to be joined by the co-founder of tGELF, a renowned educationist and a Padma Shri recipient, Mrs. Gauri Ishwaran, Vice Chairperson of the Global Education and Leadership Foundation. Ma'am, welcome. We're delighted to have you here with us.
Hello everyone, I'm equally happy to be here. A day celebrating the NGOs is, I think, something very critical. Because the contribution that NGOs make cannot actually be overrated.
Absolutely, and we are here to have a conversation, dip into your experience and your motivation, ma'am. How did you get tGELF started?
See, I've been in the teaching profession for over 30 years, and when I retired, I realized, despite all one's efforts, the curriculum that we follow in majority of the schools has no space for values. We are so busy focusing on grades, jobs, career opportunities, that we forget that the little child who comes into the school at the age of 3 and leaves at the age of 18 also needs to be nurtured in other ways, especially when it comes to values. And by values, I don't mean that we need to be moralistic and give moral lectures to children, but as a 21st century skill, make them aware of the importance of the norms of interaction. You know, what is the meaning of collaboration, of teamwork, because all these automatically go back to values. You can't be a good team worker if you are not honest, if you are not loyal, if you don't have integrity. So it is important for us to present these values to children from the point of view of how it will be useful for them. And that's what set me going on wanting to create a curriculum like that. And I was lucky that Mr. Shiv Khemka had the same aspiration, and so tGELF was born.
Great leaders are able to envision the future in ways that previous generations or people around them have not been able to envision. But then to be able to convert that vision into action and to be able to maintain a focus on that vision, that's what makes and defines great leadership. Was born out of the idea that the challenges that we face are so daunting that the only way to deal with these challenges is going to be to have leadership capital, human capital of such a high caliber and so deeply rooted in its fundamental values and ethics that it will be able to actually deal with the challenge of leadership required to deal with what lies ahead.
Wonderful, absolutely. And something that the National Education Policy today is talking about human capacity development. This is a journey that you started all of us on 14 years ago with Shiv Khemka.
And 14 years, that long.
14 years.
Time has flown past.
Time has flown past, absolutely. So, shed a little light on what has this journey been like, the challenges. I remember we started out with one school. Today we are a pan-India existence. But over to you, how this journey has been.
But the journey has been very fulfilling, despite all the no-sayers. Because people said schools don't have time and who's interested now in a value-based curriculum, and they're all busy with grades and marks and things like that. But strangely, a lot of schools did respond. Because I think, like me, many heads of schools felt the absence of a curriculum which focused on values, but we really couldn't do anything because we were given a curriculum by CBSE or whichever board. So this, in a way, gave them the opportunity to inject it into the curriculum that they had. So in that case, it was good and very exciting because we went across the country meeting people, schools, and we realized what a variety there is. But everybody has the same intention of holistic development of their children, and also parents. The number of parents who supported this idea was also quite amazing. And of course, the best thing was I poached you and brought you in here.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, and I think it was a meeting of minds and passion and ideas because while academic knowledge is important, we are not saying that it is not, but in addition to academic knowledge and expertise lies the human capacity
Yes.
and the skills that is going to make our young people not just change makers but ready for the future and prepared to take on the future. So a lot of values like resilience, and values of commitment, values of punctuality,
And willingness to take risks.
willingness to take risks are all part of this unique curriculum. Shed a little light, ma'am, on how we got experts from international universities to help us develop this curriculum. How did we, brainstorm and get the curriculum in place?
Actually, here I think I once again have to express my appreciation and gratitude to Shiv Khemka because he went along with the idea and provided us the resources so that I could travel and connect with people. Because when we started working on the curriculum, we were very lucky. We had Mrs. Uma Raman and Tina Kishore, who were our experts in creating the basic curriculum, but we needed somebody to validate. And secondly, we wanted to use the curriculum not just on a domestic scale, but also on an international scale. So in search of this validation, we were lucky in reaching out to the Teachers College in New York and the UPenn Education Department
And Harvard University.
and Harvard University with
Howard Gardner.
Howard Gardner. And I think they gave a lot of inputs in the sense they upgraded our curriculum a lot, brought in a lot of anecdotal support on an international scale, and they also helped us in training our teachers.
Yes.
And I think that went a long way. And when we did our training of teachers and we had experts coming from these universities, so it made people sit up and pay attention. But I think the best was the two things that we're very grateful for. One for Tina Kishore and Uma Raman, who gave us the basic curriculum and a foundation. And then to people like Bill Godelli, Sharon Ravitch, and Howard Gardner for making that curriculum unique and even better.
Yes.
So that is how it all happened.
Absolutely, and to give it that rigor of research, from an international perspective,
Yes.
which truly makes the curriculum unique, makes it relevant, makes it international as well. Not to mention the concepts of ethics and values
Yes.
on which the entire curriculum is rooted, and that is our USP. Unlike any other leadership program or curriculum that is out there, it's the values on which it is rooted.
And the manner in which we present the values, they're not prescriptive.
Yes.
We allow the students or whomever we are speaking to imbibe and believe in them.
Yes. Absolutely.
I think the success was that we didn't make it prescriptive.
Exactly, and it was relevant enough for teachers and schools across the country with the diverse clientele that they have to be able to accept it,
Yes.
and flexible enough for them to be able to accommodate and put it
And
into
implement.
and implement, and in fact put it into their school timetable, into their school curriculum, into their school process. So
I
this
think that really helped, the fact that both you and I, we were teachers. So we kept in mind that we should not overburden the teachers.
Correct.
So the whole curriculum was made from the angle that teachers will execute, but we do not burden them with corrections and things like that. Also, we made the lesson plans and gave them,
yes.
so that we reduced any kind of extra work for them, which is why they were able to accept the program.
Absolutely. And through the teacher training, being a teacher-driven model, we train the teachers, and then the teachers facilitate these modules for every child in the classroom. Through the teacher trainings, the teachers also realized the professional development benefit that they received.
Yes.
So it was not just the skilled curriculum, the leadership curriculum, but it was also what they could take back into their own subjects,
Yes.
what they could add as activities to enhance the subjects that they were teaching in the classroom, and it provided that flexibility.
And
to the
having
teachers.
our foreign tie-ups helped, because we were able to give the teachers an input with all the modern strategies,
Yes.
which, as you very rightly said, could be used in any classroom situation.
Exactly. So it was professional development for the teacher. These were ready-made activities that teachers could then bring into their own academic subjects that they were teaching, as well as make it part of our leadership curriculum that we now call skilling and know-how initiative for lifelong leadership development. Because after all, leadership or 21st century skill or human capacity cannot be developed overnight. It requires iteration, it requires a lifelong learning growth mindset, which is what the curriculum really is pushing for, and a progressive curriculum.
Yes, and we did add a lot of value by taking many of our teachers to UK and US, so that they were exposed to the teaching methodologies, not the teaching methodology, the classroom situation.
Yes.
And how do you prepare your classroom? And I think we were greatly helped by the gentleman from South Africa who helped
Yes.
us understand Howard Gardner's, the ability to understand children in the classroom.
Right.
That each one comes with different aspects of learning. And how do you cater to 5 different aspects in the classroom? Give us an insight into how the children can be seated even in the classroom. So that was a great input really. So looking at the 21st century skills, we realized entrepreneurship is very important. So we shifted our curriculum to embrace that as well.
Absolutely, and this is a nice segue to kind of launch into how over the years tGELF has evolved, has grown, and also how our curriculum is not static,
Yes.
but it's something that is enhanced, which is new ideas, new thinking in the space of education is integrated into the curriculum. It's evolved, and it's
Evolved
something
a lot.
and something that is relevant. And ma'am, you're absolutely right. Entrepreneurship is perhaps the flip side of the same coin as leadership. The two are really not different. So it was a natural progression to kind of bring those aspects
After
in.
we put so much emphasis on entrepreneurship, now the government is also doing that.
Exactly.
So we were like actually trendsetters in many ways.
Absolutely. So not just for the NEP 21st century skills, which World Economic Forum or our policy is looking at, where we were a trendsetter, but even as future skilling and entrepreneurial mindset
Yes.
through a full-blown entrepreneurship program where children learn the startup skills, they learn the startup culture by actually running their own student businesses in school.
And especially they learn taking risks is not something to be avoided. It's part of how you evolve as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, if you are afraid, then you will never move forward.
Exactly. And that's what an entrepreneur never does.
Yes.
You
so-
never step back because of the risk that you need to take.
And you now have these business company of the year programs through J and all. But we started with our youth leader programs many years ago.
Yes.
Which, along with entrepreneurship, focused on how do you develop ideas that will benefit the community. Not that you think up of ideas for yourself or just to make money, but to develop ideas. While it makes money for you, it also helps society, whether it's waste management or whether it is how do you take care of water, what about our deforestation. So the youth leader program has made our children look at these ideas in some kind of a depth, And it's amazing the kind of projects they have come up with.
Yes.
And so again, once again, we preempted what was to come later.
Absolutely. And just to kind of, add a footnote and do a little explanation on what the Youth Leader program is. This is a year-long program that tGELF runs in its schools pan-India, where the idea is of a solution growth mindset. This is leadership in action. Young people, high school students have to adopt a community-based challenge under the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It's not enough for them to just adopt a challenge and research about it, but the exciting part is where they have to implement the innovative solutions that they themselves come up with. And it's that implementation that actually impacts not just the community or the audience for whom they are implementing, but for themselves as well, where their capacity, where their personalities also grow, because it does impact them as human beings. And right from teenage level, where they learn that to give is to gain, when they give back to society, where they are able to actually work with their hands for others who are in places of need, do they actually grow as better human beings. So values and ethics are an integral part of everything that we do. Even our business programs, our entrepreneurship programs, we do lay emphasis on these young entrepreneurs when they are running their businesses, is to ideate on products for social need. Not ideate on fancy products that will only bring back profit, but a product or a service in their business that actually fulfills a need, a social need for the population for whom they are ideating. So at every space and at every level, with whatever programs we run, curricula that we offer to schools, ethics and values and leadership is intertwined and inbuilt. It's the ground level, it's the heart of what we do at tGELF. Ma'am, do you remember any or recall any impact stories, any impact or change that these programs have brought to young people that you could tell our audience?
Well, I think the first change we have to talk about is when the youth leader programs come up and Company of the Year. It's actually the culmination of all the values that we have been trying to nurture in the children. So it's a culmination and outcome of what the curriculum, what our program is capable of.
Yes.
So that's the proof of what we are doing actually. And we can look at number of anecdotes. What about the time when the children from a backward area in Dehradun, Purkul,
Yes.
came up with an amazing waste management scheme,
Yes.
which I think was adopted by some of our urban schools thereafter. Then we have had children who have done remarkably well in school, and we have facilitated. They have gone to the Asian University for Women in Bangladesh. They have gone to UWC
Yes.
in Singapore, and then the new UWC in Malaysia, and those children are all flying high. And through tGELF, there's one thing I'd like to mention is that we used to support children for higher education who were competent and capable but did not have the financial resources. And many of those children have gone ahead to do very well, and they've composed a group within tGELF called the Leaders Forum. And they were the examples of leaders. And one of our students whom we supported through engineering, he got into a top engineering college but had no money. So we funded him through the engineering college, and today he's an IAS officer in West Bengal. So tGELF, apart from the curriculum that we have done, we have also supported many young people and helped them to complete their higher education and move on and do big things in life.
Reena Kumari.
We have Reena Kumari, who used to live in a cottage She's today a special educator and she's gone abroad somewhere, Canada.
Canada.
I think. I mean, I think it is something that she and her family could never have dreamt of even. So there are many stories like that.
Yes.
And Deeptesh, because he's a well-known yoga teacher today.
Yes.
So, there are so many stories like that of kids that we have supported and who have gone ahead and done well. And what is nice is, one of the first students we supported was Chandrika. And for a good 5 years after she finished her education, her father contributed to tGELF to help some other child. So many of them come back and support also.
Yeah. Satish is another case in point, who
Yes.
is now
He's at
researching.
Cambridge.
He's at Cambridge.
We supported him through college, then through JNU, and then when he got the Commonwealth scholarship, he needed money. Once again, we gave him. So that's helped. And he comes from really an extremely financially constrained family. But he's reached Cambridge University now. So I think tGELF has been validated many times over by these individual stories, as well as the Company of the Year and Youth Leader projects that have come forward. And also I think we do have periodic meetings with our teachers in different cities, and we place a lot of value on the contribution of teachers and the role they play in the life of children. So therefore we have a special appreciation of teachers and try and give some kind of an award to recognize their contribution. So tGELF is actually in a way a very complete kind of an NGO. Like, it's not just kids, it's not just curriculum, it's just not just competition, it's actually all of them woven together, with the ultimate goal being that these youngsters who we are lucky to be in touch with turn out to be leaders on a global scale. Leaders who will care for others, and leaders who will not only look at their personal future. And the more such leaders we get, happier we will be. As Mr. Khemka said, we should look to see if we can create 1,000 Gandhis.
Absolutely, and automatically the world will be a better place and a changed.
See, sometimes these things seem very idealistic, but if you don't have an ideal and want to follow it, then how do you make a better life even for yourself? Have to have ideals rooted in ethics and values, and you pursue it to the best of your ability. And it's like, the oceans are made up of drops of water. So the world is made up of drops of good work. One day will come when all the good work will coalesce, and maybe and hopefully future generations will have a better world and a better planet.
Absolutely, absolutely. So just to very quickly sum up, and before we let ma'am go, you would have realized the journey that tGELF has taken ever since we were inaugurated and we started. We are a very prestigious leadership, youth-facing, youth empowerment organization today, with our unique skilled leadership curriculum, our entrepreneurship programs that we now do in partnership with Junior Achievement, which is a global worldwide organization, our youth leader, which is an impact making program that we run with young people, as well as future ready skilling that we have also added on to our offerings and our initiatives. How is it that we can make our young people, our youth, skilled, ready for the industry, ready to be successful in their future lives? And we do that with the help of a lot of industry experts and partners who volunteer their time, their expertise to help these students learn beyond the classroom. Learn what is required by the university. This could be financial literacy, this could be STEM principles, This could be digital literacy, coding, programming, what the need of the hour is, where we can actually skill and better prepare our young people for the future. But before we say bye and thank you to ma'am, how do you envision tGELF in the future? You've always motivated us. It's your kind of ideas that have kept us going and growing. What's your vision? How do you see us moving forward?
I think my dream and my wish is that we reach more schools. Because no matter how much we work with higher ed or working professionals, impact really comes if we can reach out to the young. Because then you can nurture them and they will grow up with the understanding of giving back, of gratitude. And once we have cohorts of young people moving out into the world with their choices rooted in value and ethics, I think tGELF would have achieved so much.
Lovely. And on that inspirational note, and we will try our best to meet that vision and continue on that journey. Thank you so much, ma'am, for always being there for us.
Anyway, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.